Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatimah ZAHRA binti ABDUL MANAP. My matric number 1213576. So the introduction is as we thought to discuss a cosmological argument. We know that the cosmological argument is one of the major of apologetics, because the meaning of apologetic is they seek to know the existence of God. However, the apologetic thinker also had their opinion and have their skepticism toward God existence. So to clear the obscure argument, apologetic thinker like Thomas Aquinas give their view rationally that God does exist. This paperwork discuss how Thomas Aquinas elaborate the cosmological argument to prove the existence of God through philosophy. So Thomas Aquinas also looked to nature and reason to discover truth, as same as Aristotle. So he support his argument with Aristotle's view about existence of God, which is include cosmological argument. So the cosmological argument conclude that God must exist as the first cause of everything. The term of cosmos come from Greek, which means world, universe, which is something must be responsible for its existence, that something is God. The problem statement. Thomas Aquinas' philosophy of cosmology argument has been recognized in Western world. However, we truly analyze how Thomas Aquinas explained and clear the numerous reasons that can be made to support the existence of God. Nonetheless, it is helpful to offer an argument for the existence of God that starts with the world existence while defending the religion. This kind of argument are called cosmological argument. The goal will be to explain and understand this kind of argument on Thomas Aquinas' philosophy. So this study is to address the gap in detail of Thomas Aquinas' approach and his ideas on the cosmological argument. So this include an explanation of his analysis of the cosmological concept and its own how cosmological argument works. Next, scope of study. This study aims to explore the methodological of Thomas Aquinas and his idea on cosmological argument. The research will involve the qualitative analysis based on book and library research. The study will examine the biography of Thomas Aquinas, analyze the history of cosmological argument, and to identify the objective of cosmological argument.
Next, my name is NORLIYANA Zalani. My matrix number 1212038. The objective of our research is to first to explain the biography of Thomas Aquinas, second to analyze the definition of cosmological arguments, lastly to describe about Thomas Aquinas' ideas on cosmological argument. For the research methodology, we use a qualitative method. We took from the journals, articles, and internet websites.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ATIRAH binti MANAP. My number is 1212040. Okay, now I will present to all of you about biography of Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas is known as Tommaso di Aquino in the language of Rome Campania. His name turns to Thomas Aquinas when he enters the world of Catholic Church Latin and when he maintains the use of English language. Aquinas was born in 1224 through 1225 and he was born at Rocaseca, which is in the Aquino district. Aquinas also is the youngest of the sons. Aquinas died at the Cistercian monastery of Fossa Nova on 7 March 1274 in his 49th year. Aquinas' family expect him to become a monk, but Aquinas did not want to. He showed his interest in the new preaching order, which is known as Dominicans. So there's issue at that time. So after that, Aquinas was sent to Theological Learning Center, which is at the University of Paris. At Paris, Albert the Great was the supervisor of Aquinas, he was a Dominican theologian, Albert also introduced Aquinas to Aristotle's works. After that, Aquinas was influenced by Aristotle to the point that Aquinas wrote a review of 12 of Aristotle's works. Aquinas had two works in his career, which the first one is the Summa Theologia and the second is the Summa Contra Gentiles. Okay, the Summa Theologia written to explain the Christian faith to students of theology, while the Summa Contra Gentiles was written for explaining the Christian faith and defend it on hostile situation, also using argument appropriate with certain conditions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is MURSYIDAH binti AHMAD ZAINI, number matrix 1213579. Now I want to continue the chapter 2, the definition of cosmological argument. The term cosmological argument was means to the reasoning from the existence of certain attributes of the universe to the existence of God. This type of argument is known as a posteriori, which is based on evidence from the real world. It differs from the ontological argument, which is scientific and relies on logical reasoning alone. In the cosmological argument, we observe certain effects in the universe and infer that there must be a cause behind them. This cause, according to the argument, cannot be explained by natural or human experiences. However, it suggests that we have an infinite being that is God, which disproves this option. On the other hand, the ontological argument begins the concept or definition of God and argues that his necessary existence follows logically from this concept. It does not rely on the facts, but logical thinking known as formal logic. Some people mistakenly believe that the cosmological argument is just stating that there must be a first cause because of the similarity between the words cosmological and cause. Therefore, perhaps the definition of terms is in order now. The term cosmological means based on the fact of the cosmos. It has to do with cosmology, which is a branch of metaphysics that deals with the universe as an orderly system. The term argument is used in the sense of a formulation of premises and conclusions that have been inferred from them. Furthermore, the term cosmological argument is often used in a singular form, but it refers to several arguments. These arguments change depending on which specific aspect of the universe they are based on. The cosmological argument is a part of classical natural theology, which aims to provide evidence supporting the existence of God. On one hand, the cosmological argument derives from our natural curiosity about why there is something rather than nothing or than something else. It shows our desire to find a complete and acceptable explanation for the existence of things that are not necessary or self-explanatory. On the other hand, the cosmological argument raises significant philosophical questions about various concepts such as contingency and necessity, causation and explanation, infinity, sets, the nature of time and the origin of the universe. These questions examine fundamental aspects of reality and challenge us to explore deeper truths. Overall, the cosmological arguments serve to explore both our natural interests and deep philosophical reviews about the nature of our existence and the universe we live in. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ATIRAH binti AZHAR. My matric number is 1212039. So, for the next part, I will explain about the third objective, which is Thomas Aquinas' ideas on cosmological argument. For the introduction, Thomas Aquinas, a medieval philosopher and theologian, also known well for his formulation of cosmological argument for the existence of God. The most famous of these are his 5 ways, 3 of which are cosmological argument, that are motion, caution and contingency. In a simple term, the cosmological argument is a logical method to understanding the cosmos. Cosmos, which the meaning of cosmos is world and its existence. The cosmological argument is sometimes known as a first cause. So, for the first argument that created by Thomas Aquinas is motion. According to the Thomas Aquinas, he argued that God is the source of all caution and motion. It means everything in this world faces changes and motion. Whatever is moved must be moved by another. For Aquinas, every change or motion has a cause. Nothing can move or change on its own. Secondly, the argument for efficiency causality, or called as cause and effect. Aquinas described that everything we see in the world, whether a situation, an action, or the existence of thing, has a reason or cause. Nothing happens without a cause. A thing cannot be an efficient cause for itself. To be an effective cause of itself, the object must exist first, which is impossible. Next, Aquinas argued that this order of causes cannot continue forever. There must be a starting point, a cause that was not caused by anything else. For the last argument, which is contingency, or called as necessary being, the world includes contingent things. Contingents mean makhluk. Contingent being cannot retain forever because they are depending and temporary. As a contingent being exists now, there must be someone non-contingent, which we understand to be God. Aquinas described that to see the universe exist or not are based on observation. In other words, the observation that all things that we see in the universe are contingency. From this observation, that all things are contingent, Aquinas conclude that something must exist necessarily.
So to sum up of our research, Thomas Aquinas is a prominent medieval theologian and philosopher. The cosmological argument, as formulated by Aquinas, is a philosophical argument for the existence of God that asserts that everything in the universe has a cause and that tracing these causes back must lead to a first cause, which is God. Aquinas presented this argument in his seminal work, Summa Theologica, particularly in the 5 ways. His version of the cosmological argument is heavily influenced by Aristotelian philosophy, particularly the concept of motion. However, in this study, we have focused on 3 arguments that are most famous among his arguments in Summa Theologica. So the first is the argument from motion. This argument explains that everything in motion is moved by something else, leading to the necessity of an unmoved mover to avoid an infinite regress of movers. So the second, the argument from cause. It states that every effect has a cause, implying the existence of the first cause to prevent an infinite regress of causes. Finally, the argument from contingency observes that everything in the universe is contingent, meaning it could either exist or not exist. Since there cannot be a time when nothing existed, there must be a necessary being whose existence is not contingent on anything else. These arguments collectively establish the necessity of the prime mover, first cause, and necessary being, all pointing to the existence of God. So that's all from us. Thank you.